You know, it's not easy finding your soulmate, but don't, it's even harder when you got these blinders on because you're this hard ass guy and, well, I'm going to lift weights and all women are bad unless they're, if they look a certain way, if they act a certain way, you know, don't put on blinders is all I'm saying. And don't take these, you know, I think these, some of these alpha male channels get guys all in this like, wake up every day and, you know, at 5 a.m. we did the ice cold bath. I did some of this stuff is just getting silly. Some of you guys just need a little adjustment and a little wake up and a little reminder and a little humor, you know, keep it lighter. Okay. So it's no surprise, right? 2025, we're all having some, it's a mess, all right? We're all having some kind of issues or something that's concerning us, what have you. But for our men out there, it's some tricky times. And I think it's tricky for pretty much everybody, whether it's money, whether it's political nonsense and you know, social arguments, you know, different groups and your friends. There's all kinds of things as a man that could really, really wear on your just your daily life and your daily psyche. And the one thing I really see a lot on YouTube are these overbearing alpha male channels, you know, like they're just so over the top. Now, some of these guys are, you know, they're helpful, you know, they're definitely steering some men in the right direction. And listen, we've all listened to some inspirational things, I'm sure. We've all had some tough days. I'm sure there's days where you looked up the Bruce Lee quotes, right? You looked up or look up the Tyson quotes for some motivation or Goggins or, you know, no problem with any of those guys. But the ones that pop up that are just, they kind of concern me are that they're still kind of younger guys, right? Maybe in their mid 30s. And I'm not saying I haven't seen some things, but they all have the same doom and gloom kind of feel to them. You know, they're all very, very serious, you know, and they're all very like, hey, try. It's always a gang or a tribe or, hey, welcome back, channel. Everyone's very serious, you know, they're like, welcome back. You know, how are the men, you know, guys, how are the men out there? Are the men doing okay? Stay strong. It's too, it's silly, you know, and I think it's getting guys whacked out and too serious. And now we're micro dissecting every single part of life, you know, and every woman. That's why we're here talking about that. It's the dating thing, you know. I see, you know, and trust me, I couldn't imagine dating right now. It's a effing zoo. It's a mess like everything else. It's a free for all, lawlessness, and then you got these apps. So it's been tricky. I mean, there's always, you know, there's always obstacles in any time period and throughout history. There's always, you know, man has faced so many obstacles when it comes to finding his queen. Okay, if he ever has, you know, the opportunity to find his queen, you know, these things they're precious because they're rare. Okay, now when you see all these fantastical, you know, the celebrities who they're all, you know, mostly they're all pretending, they're all full of shit. Then you see the movies where they depict everything. We know how the movies depict things. It's not realistic. But you know what else isn't realistic? Is painting a brush and just saying, oh, all women in 2025. Oh, women in 2025. The dating scene in 20. When you start painting a broad brush, you're going to omit and you're going to miss your possible queen. You're going to be so micro-analyzing and so hardened and so stingy looking at every single. I'm not saying don't be picky. Obviously, have standards, okay? But use some judgment, okay? There's some things that will normally pop off to you, and there'll be red flags. Those things will help you. Don't avoid the problem most men have, especially the younger ones, are guys that just don't have very good luck with women. And they finally meet that first woman that gives them attention. They already have on their mind. They're willing to give up the farm just to get laid, just to have sex. I mean, let's face it, just to get that woman, they'll give up anything because she's paying attention to me. And, you know, and that's, hey, listen, we all want, who doesn't want to be loved, okay? Who doesn't want someone to love? But when you're, it's like anything else. When you force it, it never works. Okay. So rule number one is the one thing I do agree with most of these alpha male channels. Now I'm not talking about Wes Watson and like those. Like I'm talking the guys who are actually really trying to help. I still think that they're a little, you know, They're stiff, and there's a life to be lived, okay? There's a life to be enjoyed and lived. And if you're always Mr. Hard ass and I'm going to work, and work out every day. Listen, I'm all about exercise. I'm all about being in great shape. But when that's all you're about, being angry and hating women and lifting weights, well, at least I guess at least you got some direction, but that's no good either. It's no balance, and you're going to have these blinders on and you're going to miss all these other great opportunities. So you have to find a little balance. These red flags will jump out at you. They will jump out at you. You will know in 5-10 seconds when one of these women says something stupid out of their mouth, then be polite until they're gone and never talk to them again. You know what I mean? Or avoid these people. And people will show themselves, women will show their true colors all the time. Most of, and men too, but I'm talking to the men here. Like when you're looking at possible, potential mates, like a person you want to be with and spend time with, not just someone you want to have sex with, it's tempting. I understand. Very tempting. I've been there. I get it. But I was going to say, especially now, but in any time period, it's been tough. There's bad actors all over the place, and nothing is perfect. But go out there and live. Don't be afraid because you're part of some kind of tribe, or hey gang, hey group, how we doing today? Then right away it seems like it steers into the negative stuff. Like all women are this way, and don't do this ever, and if they have a kid, run away. And now listen, there's red flags. 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to say yeah. Probably if they have a child already and there's baggage, you could sense some drama. Yeah, get the heck out of there. But there's still going to be that 1 or 2 in 10 that might be your queen, and the child you may actually get along with. And don't turn a blind eye to some of the rarer gems in the world just because you're going to paint a brush, a broad stroke. That's my only, because I've done that myself, and I've seen friends of mine and I've seen tons of guys do it. I'd rather see you take a chance on a gut feeling and you're pretty good about it. Because some of the best relationships have gone up in flames at some point in time. At one point, you're in love and everything's great. You get married, everything's perfect. And then, things do happen, and that's on both ends. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't worth pursuing. It doesn't mean it wasn't worth, the journey and the learning, because then maybe the next relationship you learn. Maybe you're in a rare, you find a rare person that you can have a long term where you end up working things out because you both have the same mindset, the same goals. It's not easy finding your soulmate, but it's even harder when you got these blinders on because you're this hard ass guy and, well, I'm going to lift weights and all women are bad unless if they look a certain way, if they act a certain way, don't put on blinders is all I'm saying. And don't take these, I think some of these alpha male channels get guys all in this, like, wake up every day and, at 5 a.m. we did the ice cold bath. Some of the stuff is just getting silly. Some of you guys just need a little adjustment and a little wake up and a little reminder and a little humor, keep it lighter. This is a great life if you let it. And I did have a video I was going to react to, but I just wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't feeling the reaction video thing today. I just wanted to get on and talk. A little tired, but I wanted to get this one out because another one popped up, and I don't want to use the example either. He seems like a really good young kid. He's given some good advice. He's doing amazing. He's got 150,000 subscribers. He's doing something better than me. That's why I didn't want to criticize, because who am I to say? I don't want it to look like I'm not. Listen, everyone's in different portions of their life, at different spots in their life. You're just seeing this snapshot of this video, this date of me. Things change, guys grow up, people mature. All I'm saying is keep an open mind, because if you take a hard stance and you're this hard ass guy, you might miss some of the best opportunities. That's all. Best of luck to you out there. Stay strong, tribe. Be tough, tribe.